said before, white English people identify as English, right?
Yeah.
Not just British. And for them, it's a good way to identify themselves against, you know?
So where do you see, humbly, because this is a big question, we may not have the answers to this, but like, where do you see this change? What can we do from an outside perspective? Like, what do you think Muslims could do better, or do you think Muslims are
I'm not
perfectly
going to say, man. I'm not going to answer that because I'm not Muslim. If I was Muslim, I wouldn't be able to tell what the Muslim people should do. People know their own lives better than I do.
Okay.
I would say maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, I'll flip the question. What would you think should the British, as someone who wants peace, harmony, and truth?
Okay, this is what we should do. The United Kingdom government supports radical Islam. Radical Islam, Wahhabism, Salafism. This is the wrong, for my opinion, the wrong kind of Islam. It's not respectful, loving, compassionate, based on human dignity. It's very extreme. It's very irrational. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, you have debates about whether women should wear bras, whether we should be allowed to applaud in a theater. Totally crazy. And the British government supports that. The British government supports Saudi Arabia through selling weapons, through diplomatic support, trade relationships. And we turn the blind eye to that radical Islamic fundamentalism. But and I think that's wrong. We shouldn't. Not only that, I spoke about this before. Britain has been involved in supporting radical Islamic terrorist groups as well. I spoke about the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which the Manchester bomber belonged to, I believe. I think it was him. That's a case of blowback. We supported that group so we could get rid of Gaddafi, right?
Yeah.
But then a member of that group comes back to England and hurts England. This is like, we've got to understand that. Why is the British government allowing this to happen?
But would you say that that's a response for the government? But I was more coming from a domestic sort of perspective as a citizen or citizens. What would be as a wide? Unfortunately, we have to talk in these terms now. You know, with all these identity politics, like as someone that is identified as a white person, like what would you say to your fellow people how to approach this? And
I don't know. I think all nationalism is disease, like infantile disease. So I am against English nationalism. I'll try and argue with an English nationalist. I remember Tommy Robinson spoke here. If I had a chance, I would love to talk to him. Find out what is it that's driving his English. Try and debate that and show how it's wrong. The same I would say to maybe a Muslim in Britain who's feeling very anti-English. For his own nationalist reasons. I would say that's also wrong. They're all wrong. We're all human beings, really. We may have different beliefs, different backgrounds, but that should be what unites us. You know, we shouldn't focus on our divisions. I know sounds a bit idealistic to say that, but for me, that's a good ideal.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we've covered mainly, and this is an ongoing sort of conversation. I had a conversation, I think, last week as well, which was about how do we just decipher information that is given to us, because like sort of at the advent of the information age, which has happiness that everyone has access, and because everyone has access, not everyone has the ability to discern what is true and what is, you know.
True. Well, I mean, the problem is on the internet, you kind of are your own librarian. Right? You have to be. There's a lot of responsibility on you to discern rubbish information from good information. Whereas if you go to a library, hopefully the librarian, you know, if they still exist, tries to show you good work of literature, history, and the bad stuff. They try and help you discern, but you have to be your own. You have a lot more responsibility, and just to be. I think, you know what, my best thing I'd say is just to be curious about what you are. You know, like just ask the questions. It's the first step. Just to be curious.
Because you know, one thing that we promote on this channel as well is that to minimize alienation, so that as a Muslim or as a black person, the reality is that you're here now. I know there's a lot of conversations about they have an anti-colonial tone, which I think it's a good start, but it's not always practical in the sense, because you're sociologically you're always part of a community, and I think one of the things that we're trying to promote here is that we want people to be engaging with others, you know, with Muslims and with Christians and others to come together and to be critical of each other, but also to be when there's good, to see the good.
The right attitude is not fuck England. Excuse my.
Yeah, we're gonna peep tone there.
I mean, you had this. It was a big slogan in France when there was the Muslims. Many Muslim young men were angry in France, not over Charlie Hebdo. Before that, one of the big things they were saying was "F France."
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the big slogans, and that's wrong, of course.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're here now.
Yeah.
They can do a lot of good. They don't have to have such an angry attitude. The problem is the system of the economic system, I believe.
Yeah.
It exploits us, degrades us. You don't blame individual ethnic groups, national groups for that problem. That's a problem of economics.
Yeah.
Why is it some groups have all the money and some do, the rest don't?
Yeah.
We have to redistribute the wealth, and that way we can live in a more trusting, harmonious society, more stable, be able to trust each other more, because we are coming from a place of strength.
Yeah.
If we have that basic amount of resources. So I don't really know, but
there's two things I wanted to give to you. So there's two videos I saw online. There's one video. It was after English match.
Oh yeah.
And it's somewhere on a backyard, and you had like English, like white English. What I would identify them as white English. And there was this song playing in the background, which was it's a massive song by I believe Russ and Tion Wayne, and it has a very sort of African sort of vibe to it, right? And it's white people dancing to it, like, and it was sort of like you could tell that it was. I don't know if it was in London, right? But like that, I found it very interesting because what's happening is, culturally speaking now, that merging is happening.
Yeah,
you know.
I think football can be a source of like hooliganism.
Yeah, but
the EDL, the English
Sure.
Defence League, they source a lot of their power from football fans. I think that's a small minority. I think the mass majority of white English football fans, they see all their black players on the pitch and they love that. They're there for the football.
Yeah.
They don't really care what colour you are. They're like amazed by that. And I think, to be honest, I think black football players have probably done a lot to slowly get that racism down a bit.
Sure. But the point I was trying to make was that that sort of culture, music, was transcending in a way.
We've got ska music in Britain,
Yeah.
I always think of the Specials,
Oh yeah.
It's a bit old now, it's not it's not, it's actually quite widely listened to now.
Yeah.
And that was like an interracial band. And a lot of I'm not a fan of that music myself, but I respect that kind of attempt to blend cultures.
Yeah. And another video I saw was about this was clearly white working class guy. I think he had a Cockney accent. Don't quote me on it. And he sits in a car, and like he has his clothes on like dirty and stuff like that. And he says, "I've read the Quran, and you guys, like a lot of us, have been lied to. It's a very beautiful piece of literature." So things like that are really, I think, sort of like the people. This engagement and exchange, and I feel like that has to happen way more.
There's a book about this called The Sea of Faith. Islam and Christianity are from the same, and Judaism, from the same source.
Yeah.
Abrahamic religions.
Yeah.
We're monotheists.
Yeah.
People of the book. We have an important book.
Yeah.
We have so much in common, and so much more in common than we have separating, I think.
Yeah.
Although the differences are important as well.
Sure.
I believe that, of course, different rules, different expectations.
It's interesting that
the similarities are so similar. It's worth celebrating.
It's quite interesting that you're saying we. So because you're atheist, but
I'm of a Christian.
Culturally.
Yeah, because I grew up in the Western world, European tradition. I guess even though I'm atheist myself, a lot of Christian values have come through that. Values that have a lot in common with Islam as well.
Sure.
I know that, you think of Thomas Jefferson, for example, he read the Quran very diligently to try and get understanding of it, to see what he could work in. People don't know that, but he was a big student of Islam. And that's Thomas Jefferson. That's one of the key Enlightenment Western thinkers. There's many examples of that. It's a very important book to understand.
So, in the 21st century, there's obviously more groups, it's not just Muslim, Christian, or Jews. There's various of groups who identify via their sexuality, the groups who identify via their economics. And I feel like the grand scheme of that is the coming together and having these exchanges is so vital. Like, I never would have had access to you if I hadn't come there and I've just listened to you. Because I was actually talking to a Christian guy and I was overhearing the conversation. I was like, that sounds very interesting. Let me go over there and spark a conversation. that that doesn't necessarily have to be about religion. And I stress this every Sunday because I feel like this as someone who lives here, there's a sense of responsibility that I have to sort of contribute to society, and it has to go beyond just the material sense of taxes or anything like that. It has to be my being, and it also comes in form of criticism, you know, and we have to normalize that someone like yourself can be critical of the government, but can also be critical of certain groups whilst remaining very balanced throughout, you know. I think that's very important that we normalize these things, that I can look at the history, but I could look at current systems in the UK, economical system. I'm like, well, I disagree with this. Why? Because I'm part of this society. I'm refusing to take the exotified position, you know, and Du Bois talks about this. Yeah, he talks about this double consciousness and the second sight. So it's basically seeing myself through the eyes of the white man. Like, I refuse that. And go beyond it and say, well, I'm here now, and there are things in the past. You asked me about cultural appropriation, right? So I'm here now, and I have right to contribute, and I'm also have right to criticize and suggest.
Actually, you know, at the end of the day, I think, to be specific about black liberation, it only comes from that, what you just described.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time, though. I think I mentioned this quote. I think it was Kwame Nkrumah who said, like, you have to decolonize your mind. I mean, he was talking about black people in Africa.
Yeah.
I think the same could be applied to English people.
Yeah.
The same idea.
Yeah.
We've got to decolonize we have a mind which, yes, focuses on celebrating empire, celebrating colonization, or at least looking at the good side and de-emphasizing the bad, or just not talking about it.
Yeah, a lot of euphemism.
Putting down the uprising of the Mau Mau, supporting the federal military government in the Nigerian civil war against the Biafran people.
Yeah.
All these conflicts, supporting Idi Amin when he came to power, supporting the racist regime in South Africa. You know, there's a lot. Not only do African people need to decolonize their mind and, like you said, stop seeing themselves through the eye of the oppressor.
Yeah.
Right. English people have to do this as well.
Yeah.
That's an insult to us if we ignore that history. And that's not long ago. That's quite recent. It's last 50, 60 years. So we're not talking about reading the whole of British history. Just even look at the last few decades. See that?
Kyle, I think this was a beautiful conversation. We will have more of those. And I'm sure that you have enough stamina and ammunition to bring up other conversations in the past. I hope the people will benefit from this. Thank you very much. I'm just going to close up.
Sure.
Okay, brothers and sisters, again, we've brought you a conversation that is slightly different, that discusses everyday situations, every single one of us experiences, right? It's all good to talk about religion, but like, there are other things of vast importance, of great importance, that influence us every single day. And as people, we are part of the society. We have to refuse to take this exotified position that is assigned to us. And this includes people who may consider themselves to be white or English or Anglo-Saxon or Welsh. We have to refuse these positions and these projections that are placed in. Refuse to assume them, because what is happening is when we assume these characters, we become part of the theater. You know, the cruel theater that is limiting and preventing us to become humans.
We're human beings, first and foremost.
I
don't want to sound like John Lennon, but I believe one day we will just be humans. We might speak different languages, eat different food, but we'll be human. And the idea of separate nationality will be... I'm sorry, you were supposed to finish.
No, that's it. Thank you. You finished it off. Thank you.
Come to Speakers Corner.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Kyle, again, thank you, man. This was nice.
I'll see you maybe next week. I work on Sundays sometimes, so I might not be able to come.
Sure. But whenever you're here, please come down.
I will, Salam Corner. So is that what it's called?
Yeah, on YouTube as well.
You guys are doing a good thing, It's very good.
Thank you. Was it good? It was about that. It was about whiteness. It was about how white people view Muslims. You know, it was about a lot of these things. So again, I keep talking about these things because these conversations, you don't find them. And I know there's a lot of like people in this country who want to hear that conversation, you know, and we're missing a huge. How many times are you going to hear about Jesus is the Son of God, or how many times? At one point, it's going to be.
Just comes in 1 minute.
Yeah, you want to, you know, and also again, I'm trying to show Muslims. Look, we are versatile. We can talk about history, we can economics, we can talk about religion. All these things are important, and I reject this whole idea about Tawheed. Yeah, Tawheed, of course, but Tawheed in your mannerism. But treat the person that he feels like he's dignified in front of you. If you say Tawheed, and he feels like, oh, I'm a kafir, then you're not doing Tawheed properly. I was talking to this brother over there early on, and he was telling me, he was like, I have a feeling that Muslims feel very arrogant about other people, the way they judge other people. And I was trying to show him some verses in the Quran where I said, Allah says, hold on, you're in the same boat. You're in the same boat like all of them. Do what you have to do, and I will judge you. But you're in the same boat, you're a human being, and you don't know what's going to happen. Oh, Akhi, I didn't get to talk to you today. Yo, Sabur, mashallah. Always happy to see you, wallahi, mashallah. How you doing?
You know this guy you're talking to, what's his name?
Kyle.
He's a lefty, isn't he?
Yeah.